Oi-de-de-de-de-hoo! And welcome to another Playland Say. Today we're going to be looking at Fitz the Fox. It's a Game Boy sort of experience, pixel style with just a 4-colour palette. So a simple platformer. Graphics. With the graphics based around a pixel style and just a 4-colour palette, it did give a very Game Boy feel to it, especially with the green background. The colours being a bit more Neo Geo style, of course. This style has been done again and again and again, and you're not going to see anything new or special with the stylings done with it in this. It's a very simple 2-frame animation for most things, and well, the pixelated style is now really the go-to style for simpler games. While there's nothing wrong with it in this game, it's not really something that's going to be inspiring anymore. Sounds. Well, with the retro feel, they've carried this across to the sound as well, with the music very much sounding like it's coming from a portable gaming speaker. Unfortunately, the tinniness of this, while being nostalgic at the start, really does start to drill through your skull like a million bees that have infested your ears and started to eat your brain. Unfortunately, I don't see how they could fix that. Just putting a bit more of a mellow background music would be my suggestion, rather than something that's wanting to make me kill myself. The other problem is the gun that the second character uses. The amount you have to shoot the gun and the sound that it makes becomes so repetitive and so just again and again and again and again. Controls. This is simple movement with minimal buttons. You'll start off by just using the one button, which is jump, and then you progress to 2 buttons, jump and shoots with the second character. With the controls being based around such a simple premise, all the game has to do is stay responsive, which it does do. When you press jump, you jump. When you're shooting and moving left and right, you can do that. But you generally will come across with a bit of the slide that you used to get in early Marios when you try and stop, or if you try and land and jump. Story. Your girlfriend gets captured, you save her. You get captured, she saves you. So nice bit of gender equality there, where you're saving one and then the other one's saving the other one, even though I don't think there is any genders given, but you generally presume that the pink one is the girl and the other one is the boy, even though that probably is just me being sexist. So thank you, Fitz the Fox, you've just made me a sexist pig. Sequels and the histories of the game. How well do they fit in? Well, there have not been any previous games, and as for sequels, well, they probably could do a sequel to this quite easily. I don't see why they wouldn't be able to do it. You just put some more levels together and have them captured again by someone different. Characters. Did I love the little foxes? No, not really. You're not really given anything to go by with it. Just at the start, they're living in their little happy world, and then comes Mr. Lumberjack and steals a fox. They've not really tried to put any sort of story or feelings or emotions or anything into this game. It is just a platforming game, which, in my mind, is lazy. Just put some dialogue in. Just some simple dialogue. That's all that's needed. And then you can start to feel a bit of a feeling towards these people, like you actually give a damn if they live or die, or that you're just going to brutally murder them by jumping on spike-headed little fiends and shove the spikes so far up their asses that they're brushing their teeth in the morning and feeling them. Gameplay. Well, it's a platformer. It's Mario style. You collect points. The points convert into life, so every 500 points you can get an extra life. If you've got full lives, then these points will stack up. So I guess there's some replayability there. You try and beat your high scores, beat the other person's high scores. But the game was slightly ruined for me by one main aspect, and that's the extra frame that's put in between you landing and being able to jump again. This makes it very difficult when you're on crumbling blocks. Actually, I wouldn't say the word difficult, because the word difficult is a good word for a game to have. It's just tricky and fiddly. And also that when you're trying to land between something that's moving very quickly and the platform area is very small, you have to time your jump so much more perfection than you would have to do if you could hit the floor and jump again. So the gameplay frustrated me in a lot of areas. It just all seemed very basic to start with. It gets a little bit more interesting with the pink fox because you have the gun added. And the gun isn't just used to shoot people. If you shoot down or sideways, left or right, it'll also knock you through the air a bit. So it gives it a bit more of a flying aspect to it. Even though it wasn't really a flying fox, it was more like a pogo fox. And an annoying pogo fox at that rate, because every time you used the pogo, you had to listen to that sound drilling further and further into your skull, as though you're reliving the early Star Trek films with their earwigs. Variety. Well, there's only one choice of character you can use it at each time, but they do variety the characters up, and in all fairness that some of the levels have got the decision, even though they do seem to have lost this way later on, that you can take a simpler path, or a path that will earn you more points but be more dangerous. I enjoyed that earlier in the levels, and I did feel that the earlier levels were a bit tighter than the later levels, and this can happen a lot in indie games, and you'll see it, where they will start off with really strong ideas, and then they just... Overview. Well, it's not the worst indie game I've ever made. It works, it plays, it does sort of what it says on the tin. I only paid £5 of my UK pounds for it. So I'm not going to complain too much about this game. It's arduous, and the music really does start to want me to kill myself, and I didn't actually end up finishing the game because I ended up not caring about the game. But if you're after just something laid back and low to play, then I would probably advise this. Just mute the game, put something on the other screen, and have a little bit of a go at trying to complete it. You don't have to do the whole thing in one go. It's not Dark Souls in that aspect. When you die, you will start back at the last checkpoint, and levels are grouped in threes. So, Fitz the Fox. Probably one of the better indie games I've played recently. Got promise, got potential, just a few tweaks as far as the animations goes, so programmers, get on it.